Well, so the coronavirus pandemic has affected the world in an unprecedented way, and Africa is not left out, with continental leaders still deliberating the way forward for the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is set to commence in July this year. Now, while calls have been made for implementation of the CFTA to be postponed, AfroChampions initiative, a set of innovative public-private partnerships on the success of the trade agreement, is calling on African heads of state to rather use COVID-19 as a catalyst to roll out this initiative. Chief Strategist of AfroChampions, Michael Koto, has been speaking with my colleague Inshrado.
The COVID-19 pandemic is really disrupting preparedness of the continent towards the July 2020 expected start of trading. And I'll give you a couple of ways in which it is disrupting the AfCFTA preparedness already. So the first one is that the Accra Secretariat of the AfCFTA was supposed to have opened in March. That had to be postponed because of the pandemic. So the Secretariat is currently operating temporarily out of Addis Ababa. They were in the process of recruiting staff and teams to work with the new Secretary General who had been appointed. All of that has been disrupted. Number two is that there were some critical negotiations to complete the outstanding negotiations in order for the July start of trading to start. So all those negotiations that were ongoing very rapidly have all been disrupted because the negotiation teams from the various countries cannot travel to meet and do the negotiations. So negotiations have also been disrupted. Country preparedness obviously will also be impacted because now countries have diverted all their attention to fight the pandemic. And one critical way in which this is impacted the AfCFTA is, as you can see, most countries, virtually every country on the continent has closed their borders in order to be able to fight the pandemic. And this is a continent that was looking forward to start of trading. Obviously, countries have reversed from open border mode to closed border mode. All of that is ways in which the AfCFTA is being impacted. The levels of trade have also gone down now in intra-Africa trade, obviously because of the border closures and all of that. So the impact has been big already. There are calls in certain quarters that the African Union should postpone the July start of trade of AfCFTA because of these reasons. And AfroChampions has looked critically at the situation. We've asked some really hard questions and tried to be creative and say, should this be postponed or other ways in which the continent can still ensure that AfCFTA takes off in July, even if the pandemic doesn't end early. And the position of AfroChampions is that the African Union should not postpone the July start of trade.